All right. So this evening I would like to begin by giving all praises, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, who has given us the Holy Spirit to guide us in these dark times. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Salutation to the men that push in this work in sincerity and in all truth. This is one piece of GMS Trinidad, Brother Koda, just come in to bring a vid and pray that it be edifying to the house and nation of Israel. Alright, so today's lesson will be Babylon helps the Caribbean by giving them tools for their own destruction. Alright, and what sparked this lesson is a video that I have here to show. But really and truly, alright, the way how Babylon, aka America, does help people is by sowing seeds of destruction. You understand? By sowing seeds of destruction, even through the process called order at chaos. You understand? Where they sow them seeds of destruction, and when destruction hit, they're telling you that they had the cure. But when they give you the cure is either to kill all the citizens or to usurp control over the country, that they could take the necessary resources that they will need, to further their war or to make America great again. You understand? So they're always sowing seeds of deception to deceive the people into taking their wealth away from them or to bring the people under subjection under them. Alright, a good point of that was what they did to the native Indians. They made how much 1,000 peace treaties with them, and they broke all the peace treaties and killed them out just so that they could take their land, America, which they call in America today. You understand? Because they even rubbed smallpox in the Native Americans' coats that they could start to die off from smallpox. You understand? And that is why the scripture tells you never trust your enemy. So I just want to go straight into the video.
Bless up love again to everybody out there, yeah? I'm here to give the Prime Minister of my country, the Prime Minister, the heads of state of Jamaica, 48 hours, yeah? To comment to the people, to make the people them know what I go on the speech about Cuba. Now, yeah? USA, yeah? The heads of state of USA, Donald Trump, you guys are nobody to come dictate, to come tell we how to deal with the Cubans, yeah? And to tell we who to send we back. Because you as a big nation, a big world, first world country like you, America, you know what the biggest support you have support to the Caribbean? M16, Glocks and Beretta and Glock 49. Those are the biggest trade where you carry to the Caribbean. You, America, have so many blood on your shoulders to come talk about the Cubans are exploiting and do all type of madness.
Yeah, and just to interject the way he's saying here, basically that is what America does do. They just bring cocaine in your land so that the inhabitants basically, to break down the strong men. Because men going on cocaine turning vagabonds, you understand, they're bringing guns in people's country so that men taking up these same guns and killing out their own population. You understand? Because that is something that our Israelite brothers does be doing. Taking the guns that was manufactured by these same Edomites, these same Americans, Desert Eagle and all these kind of thing, taking these guns and turning it on the own black brother, killing the own Israelite brother and the own Israelite sister. You understand? And these is traps that America does set to bring down the world. You understand? To put our people in straits under them. You understand? Because how these Edomites, these Americans get back up in power is by their ability to strategize and to put plans into action that will take away the right from the poor, the people, or take away the rights from a country. They always bring in laws and legislations, alright, to put things in their favor. You understand? They could kill out the Israelite man, but as soon as an American man die, all right, is the whole of the American military coming in that country to apprehend whoever did the killing. You understand? But they could kill out the Israelite man and nobody comes after to seek retribution for that Israelite man. You understand? Because it have so much deaths in America that the Edomites that do the deaths against the Israelites, they just give off at a slap in the wrist. You understand? They might lose the job or something like that. But if an American is to die in somebody's country and they catch the person who do that, that person would not have to pay the ultimate price, which is a eye for eye, a tooth for a tooth, death. You know?
America, you should be the last country if you have anything to say. You are one of the biggest terrorists in the world. Yeah? America. And you can never dictate to Jamaica. And we can tell the heads of state of Jamaica, if the Cubans cannot stay here, so shall the US Embassy and so shall the USA shall not stay here either. You understand me? So it simply means if the Cubans them can't stay in Jamaica here, so shall the US Embassy shall just close down and go home back. Yeah? And our
yeah, because they just go back to all the tariffs and things that they're imposing on the other nations. You understand? Some vendetta Trump and them probably have against the Cubans and the door the Cubans and them to stay in Jamaica. You understand? And that's why the scripture call America the hammer of the whole earth, because they like bullying. They like to bully the nations and them. You understand?
military group have all been ready and stand up and ready and be firm, ready to take on this journey, and will not stand, because my great grandmother, my foreparents, if you see how them eye, if you see how cataract, Cubans come and clean cataract off of them eye, let me tell you something, the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Be mindful, beware, yeah? And know what you are doing and the decision that you are making. If you don't understand the system, please go back and read the history. Look at the Ozimati High School. Look at the Savamar Hospital. Yeah, people will help me out. You understand me? So don't play around with the Cubans. Yeah, and we will stand, forever stand with the Cubans. The Cubans have been sanctioned for 60 years. 60 years by the United States of America. And all know they have not lifted none of these sanctions from Fidel Castro days till now. And the Cubans, as a country that have more than 70, more than 150 sanctions on them, help Jamaica more than America. The most help America give Jamaica and the Caribbean is M16 gun, is Glock 45, is AK-47. Those are the things that America help Jamaica with. America, we don't need you. You understand me? We don't need to go to America. We don't need an American visa. I don't need no car for drive.
Yeah, because he's saying how it's only guns that America helping these different Caribbean nations with. And that is true, because so much are poor in the land, or they ain't come in and say to give free food. If all they do give free food is because the food contaminated with some kind of vaccine or some kind of disease in it. You understand? But that is why the Lord called these Edomites the sons of perdition. Perdition goes back to destruction. That is all they will feed the world. They will just give the world destruction to raise down the path of destruction. That is what they're about.
America. Look at it, eh? America make food and all these top car, and we barely can buy them in Jamaica. You understand me? And we call them a partner. America will not know nobody a full time now for Jamaica get for them share a sanction, so we can know who it truly is. Because without a sanction, Jamaica will never know who them really is. Yeah? And a time now if we start make our own clothes, a time now if we start make our own. Hey, let me tell you something, people. You see, if you're not ready, yeah, my paramilitary group is already ready. So who ready? Ready.
Yeah, and even how the guy here talking, you're seeing anger in his face. You understand? Because really and truly, America is not doing good to the world. America only wants good for the self. You understand? But not for the world. Alright? They just want to show that there is the big bully, that they could bully nations into accepting the bullshit that they're coming with. So this is Habakkuk 2 and verse 12, it says, woe to him that buildeth a tongue with blood and establish a city by iniquity. That is what America did. You understand? That is why the man was speaking here. He say America love too much blood. America have real blood on the hand. You understand? So jumping down to verse 15, it says, woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, and puttest thy bottle to him to make, and makest him drunken, also that thou mayest look upon their nakedness. And how America does give the neighbors drink to see the nakedness by the philosophies and the doctrines that are pushed out onto the other nations. All right, even by bringing guns and cocaine and thing in people country, you understand, to cause the inhabitants of that country to start killing out one another, or to bring, you know, people to the brink of madness, you know, how men on cocaine, you know, vagabonds walking the streets. All these is the things, the traps that America does lay to bring down the nations. All right. So this is Psalms 10 and verse 2. Psalms 10 and verse 2. It says, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the device that they imagine. And that is America just about persecuting the poor of this world. All right. It says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and bless the covetous, whom Yahweh abhorreth. You understand? Isn't that way Trump and them doing right now? Boasting at the heart's desire. And when you check out the heart's desire is wickedness unto the people. You understand? They're actually blessing wicked men. You understand? And abhorring and killing the righteous. You understand? That is what they're doing. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. All the things that these people say, and you don't even hear them worshiping Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. You understand? Imagine a woman come on live television and saying, the God of the universe gets 0 mentions, and start to laugh and all kind of thing. And that is why a lot of the houses burn down over in that country. You understand? The Lord not playing. So it says, his ways are always grievous. Yeah, the things that he implementing, it always grievous to the people. The inoculation, you understand, the devil's juice, the sea hip where they're looking to bring now. You understand? It always grievous. All right? Even the tariffs and the stipulations and the judgments that they're putting on other nations, it grievous. All right? Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Isn't that what Trump doing right now? Basically, if all they ain't do this, we gonna have to go to world war. We gonna have to fight wars. If all they ain't do this, if all they ain't do that, we will have to drop some nuclear bombs on all here. He puffing at the other nations. But the Lord making the other nations strong that they're puffing back at America. You know? Verse 6, it says, he had said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. Yeah, that is the mental of these Edomites. You understand? They wouldn't be moved. But the Lord already have a plan in place to move you Israelites out. Not you Israelites alike. You Edomites out of power, out of rulership. Alright? Verse 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit. Yeah, everything he tell you is always about lies. To get you to do what he want you to do. And fraud under his tongue, and mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret place doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. Yeah, because he always taking innocent little babies and drinking the adrenochrome, killing them, abducting teenagers and running them through he devil worship practices, all right, and before you know it, the killing them, and yeah, this is the wickedness that they does do. This is the wickedness that people does do, all right. It say he secretly murder the innocent. You understand? His eyes always set against the poor. You're always set to do things to oppress the poor. That is his vision, is always to oppress the Israelites. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. That RFID micro C hip that the Gunan implement, that is he lying in wait to catch the poor. You understand? Because he gonna make the world get so hard, food prices going up. You understand? And he gonna implement that CHIP, all right? And that is how he gonna catch the poor Israel. You understand? He doth catch the poor, he draweth him into his net. Because that mark of the beast, that MOTB, that is a net that they're gonna draw, if not billions of people into that net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. That is what he does do, come out and say he's speaking peaceable words, but yet still build snakes, making vaccines to kill out a mass majority of the people in the world. You understand? And that is how the poor fallen by his strong ones, because Bill Gates is a strong one in the devil army. In that deceiver's army, Bill Gates is a strong one. All right? He had said in his heart, God had forgotten. He hideth his face and will never see it. That is the reason why he always oppressing the poor. You understand? Always oppressing the Lord's people. This is the book of Amos. Amos 9 and verse 8. And it reads, Behold, the eyes of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, because I don't want to say Lord God. I need to say who it is going and bring this destruction upon Edom. All right? Behold, the eyes of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, are upon the sinful kingdom. Where's that sinful kingdom? That's talking about America today. That is that sinful kingdom. All right? And I will destroy it off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob. The Lord ain't going and do away with the whole house of Jacob, because only 2/3 of Israel is who going to align themselves with that sinful kingdom. You understand? To say to take his mark and all them kind of bullshit. Alright, so yeah, the Lord going to destroy America from off the face of the earth because of the wickedness. Alright. So jump into the book of Sirach 12. I'll read at verse 16. Alright. I'm going to jump at verse 10. It says, Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou had wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust, which that rust go back to his wickedness, his rust had not been altogether wiped away. You understand? Yeah. So people that say the white man this and the white man that, and he good and wherever, but there's none good. These people are rusty according to the scriptures. You understand? The wickedness not going to be wiped away. Alright? It says, set him not by thee, which meaning don't have him ruling over you. Lest when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. That is what it does do. It does go in people's land to take over. You understand? He actually brought the Israelites in slavery and take up their name, saying that he is the Israelites and they are the holy people. You understand? That is what it does do. It says, he stand up in thy place, because that is what he did. He actually took down the Israelites in slavery, had them working in his different lands, and he over in Jerusalem now saying that he is the holy people. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and it prick therewith, and be pricked therewith. Alright, yeah, you don't trust your enemy out here. Alright. So verse 16 it says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips. And that is what he did to the native Indians. But in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. And that is why the young man who speak on the video here, he said that America hands full with blood. And it's true. Alright? And he not gonna be satisfied, because even in this day to come, he gonna shed a lot of blood again. Alright? Verse 17, if adversity cometh upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. Yeah. We come to bring aid to the people, but it's not only aid he bring in. He also bring in a RFID microchip to put inside of your skin, telling you the only how you're going to get his food is if you take that chip. Alright? If adversity cometh upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet he shall undermine thee. You understand? That is how these Edomites are. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance when you fall. You understand? All the fronting he played, when he get into the trap and you fall, it ain't no friend again with you and he. Alright? The Bible actually warning the world to beware of the so-called white man. He is not your friend. Alright, this is Ezekiel. This is the book of Ezekiel 35 and verse 6. Alright, it says, I'll read from verse 3. Alright, it says, I read from 2, Selak. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir. Alright, Mount Seir was the home of these Edomites, but now the home of these Edomites is actually America and the different regions surrounding America. Alright, it says, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Say unto it, thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, the Lord against these so-called white people. And I will stretch out my hand against thee. I will make thee most desolate. You understand? How the Lord gonna make America desolate? By them bombs that gonna hit them. Them thermonuclear missiles. I will lay thy city waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. And that sword goes back to the modern day gun that we killing people with. Alright? In the time that their calamity, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Alright, so even in the time when we're supposed to be out of bondage, he still have us, serving slavery under him. Verse 6, it says, therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, I will prepare thee unto blood. And that is what the Lord doing. The Lord actually gave Trump a proud spirit, you understand, that had the other nations hating America today. And that is the Lord preparing America unto blood. You understand? I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, since thou hast not hated blood. Goes back to what the fella was saying. America hands filled with blood. They hate to shed innocent blood. Even blood shall pursue thee. And thus I will make Mount Seir desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in thy rivers shall they fall down, shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. You understand? And that two nations and countries could go back to the southern and northern kingdom, Israel, because he did take down the southern and the northern kingdom, and he possessed them today. You understand? But the Lord is with these people. That is the mistake he make. He don't know that. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thy envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them, and I will, when I have judged thee. Yeah. Because the Lord even said that he going to use his nation and people, the Israelites, to bring down America. You know? So yeah, the Lord going and have you people in a desolation. Alright, this is Isaiah 14. This is basically my last precept here. Isaiah 14 and verse 15. Alright, it says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? That is what he's doing right now. He's making the earth tremble, and he's shaking up the kingdoms in wrath. You understand? Alright? That made the world as a wilderness. How he made the world as a wilderness. Look at what he did with Fat Boy and Little Boy. And he even going to do more destruction in this time here. Alright? That made the world as a wilderness, and destroyeth the cities thereof. That opened not the house of his prisoners. Yeah, it are prisoners doing lifetime in jail. You understand? We're going in jail at the age of 13, 14, and basically not seeing the free will ever again in their life. You know? And innocent prisoners, some of them. All the kings, verse 18, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory. Even one is his own house. But thou art cast out of the grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thus thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Alright, I'll just jump to 21. It say, now let me just go to 20. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy own land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned, which means the seed of evildoers not going to be allowed to basically run this world anymore, or live nice. The Lord going to bring them down. It says, prepare slaughter for his children and for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities, or they will no more be able to build up great cities like America, like Europe, or they will no longer be able to build up great cities anymore. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies, and cut off from Babylon the name and the raiment, the son and nephew, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Alright, so yeah. So all that destruction that all they bring into other people's countries, the Lord going and bring destruction to all their own country. Alright, and to all their people going and be left as a desolation. Alright. So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, who has given us the Holy Spirit to guide us in these dark times. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Salutation to the men that push in this work in sincerity and in all truth. This is Brother Kodav, GMS Trinidad, saying Shalom until the next lesson. Shalom.